guys, this is Finn the Human from Adventure Time, and this is pretty much the worst podcast you've ever heard of, or never heard of. Yeah!
And we're live from Calgary in the middle of a snowstorm. This is Bob of the BNS Awesome Podcast.
This is Scott of the BNS Awesome Podcast.
And we're in Calgary because we've been going to the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo, and we're not going to lie, it's been kind of a bit of a wash. We'll explain why, but other than that,
we'll get into the washness.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. We'll get into it, you know.
Yeah, we'll talk.
But I'll let Scott lead, and I'll just do backup on this one.
So kind of the reason it was a wash was I've been feeling terrible for the last 4 days.
Well, technically, it's been 4 days. You've been feeling bad for the last 7 days.
Yeah, 6 days. 6 days, I think. Anyways, it's been coming out of one end, and it hasn't stopped. And I have contaminated our room. We thought that they were going to make us move rooms because of the awful odor coming from our room. The con was pretty good.
I got some complaints, but I'm a nitpicker.
I'll say pretty good, just because I got to meet John DiMaggio.
Never meet your heroes.
Why? I liked meeting him.
Yeah, but I look mean and surly, so he wasn't very nice to me.
No, he was nice to me, though. Seemed like a really nice guy.
Unless you're a mean-looking mofo.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. We watched a Zach Levy
Yes.
panel, and
we're going to watch a bigger one, but then stuff happened.
Yeah, my stomach happened. He was really charismatic, and I wasn't expecting that. Haven't seen Shazam yet, but it makes me want to watch Shazam even more now. The expo itself, not as good as years previous. Fewer people, for sure. Would you not say so?
Well, as I found out, I've been going every year from its inception. I thought it was going before that. It's way better than the first year with, Chewbacca and everything in the Big Four, but it kind of peaked a couple years ago, maybe, before they sold out to the bigger fan expo company.
Yeah. And they did a weird thing with badges this year where you got to scan your badge every time you go through a fucking door.
Yeah, so it's for fires and keeping track of where people go so they can, make those areas with more stuff. It's so they can track you. It's all a big conspiracy, man.
Yeah, but they don't track all the fucking doors because we went outdoors, 15, 20 times and didn't scan out.
Well, we only did that 3 times. Your memory's being affected by your stomach.
Don't say that my diarrhea affected it.
I'm going to have to edit that out so people don't know the horrible things that I've been having to smell over the weekend.
Poor Bob. I have literally apologized to him for ruining the weekend through my awful smells. Anyways, what were your likes of the convention?
Well, I liked that when we showed up on Thursday, nobody knew where the VIP room was. But it was the same place it was last year, but it wasn't marked out, obviously.
That was fucking stupid.
Then they finally gave us a big actual map because I didn't have a map in my bag because, they wouldn't give me a bag because they sent the badge in the mail. They're like, it's
map,
over here.
The map's fucking special commodities there for some reason.
Well, they had them, a lot of them the next day. But, yeah, I liked that there was a huge cluster of insanity, as it always is.
Yeah.
Let's go day by day. So I'll just go with Thursday for now.
Okay.
What we did on Thursday. So we showed up, got our stuff, checked out all the vendors, showed up, talked to the Otafest people. They're always lovely and wonderful.
Yeah,
I love Otafest.
I must say, I really enjoyed talking to the Otafest people this year. Both girls, we talked to the one girl on the first day, and then I talked to another girl today. She was very helpful and really, they're genuine people, I find. Yeah,
that's why I love going there, because I'm the most hateful person at Otafest, and even then it's I'm not even that hateful, so it's I'm the worst guy here, and that's a pretty good mix.
Okay, so what else did we do Thursday?
Like I say, we checked out Otafest.
I bought a Filthy Casual t-shirt, that's what I got.
And we checked out the vendors. There wasn't really much going on for panels we were interested, per se, on that day.
Yeah, so...
We saw the Star Trek panel quick.
Yeah, which was Anson Munn and Ethan Peck.
Yeah, from Discovery.
Much better than I expected.
It was interesting because they talked about a lot of things that weren't Star Trek.
Yeah.
And they talked more about the original series than they did about Discovery, which made me smile.
Some about Ethan Peck makes me think that he'll be in a lot more stuff coming up soon.
You're just saying that because he's handsome.
He's got that Hollywood look, right? Honestly, I could see him in more shows.
But yeah, so we did that, and then I said, let's continue doing things, and then we just went around the panel till it closed, and then we kind of went back to the hotel.
Yeah, I was feeling not great, but I mustered through.
Yes.
Then that night was awful for me.
Yes, it was awful. It was very awful.
We'll just go with that.
But so then Friday, it wasn't going to open till 12 anyhow, right?
Yeah.
And Scott was really bad, so it was like, I said, hey, do you want to go check out, the Avengers first thing in the morning at 10 o'clock? And Scott's like, oh, I need Imodium. So I went and looked for Imodium, couldn't find any of the place, got him some gravel and Pepto-Bismol. Then we've got Imodium in another place, but we ended up to go see the Avengers at 10:30.
Yeah, I think it was 10:30.
Yeah, we got the 10:30 AVX at Chinook, and we watched the Avengers. But before that, I went into this parking garage, and somehow I ended up in the employees-only area of the bay, and they were very helpful in showing me how to actually get through the mall. But I couldn't get in through the mall, so I had to go back outside on the other side of the mall and walk around, because the inside of Shoppers isn't open until, it was
What
messed
a
up.
nightmare.
All because I was like, oh, I'll just take the first turn, and that goes into the underground. I was like, why didn't I just take the next turn?
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
It was like there was different branches that I could have possibly turned at, and each one, once I turned there was no going back.
No.
Which leads us right into spoilers, because let's talk about...
Are we going to... Or do you want to do a whole other episode on that? Because I think there's a lot to break down in that movie.
We're just going to do a whole thing about that after?
Maybe.
All right, I'm unsnapping the spoilers.
Okay, yeah, listen closely.
This is a timeline where I never snapped about the spoilers.
What are you talking about? It's fine. I'm old now. We'll talk about this another date.
Scott's still processing the movie. He'll have to watch it 20 more times, then we'll talk about it.
No, soon. So, Friday, we
watched the movie.
Yeah, we watched the movie. I felt
slightly
better around 3-ish, I think. We headed over. As we headed over, we went for their information. What did we go for information for? Oh, to figure out where our buddy Nick Shostakowski was showing his movie, because Nick was showing his movie.
Yeah, that was something I was going to get into, because he's programming there for a programmer, and when a dumb hillbilly has to show people the way to where the room's going to be, that's not a good look.
No, yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, what the fuck? You guys need to figure out your shit.
Don't worry, some random hillbilly you have a loose, acquaintanceship will show you where the room's going to be.
So as me and Bob are trying to figure out where to find this room at, guess who's right beside us? Nick's like, hey, how are you guys? And you think that I'm joking about he was right beside us? No, he was literally right beside us.
Yeah, there's where the programmer booth is, there's a little rope between it, and then there's information.
Yeah, we were sitting there getting information how to get there as he was checking in. So it was nice. We got to chat with him and his friend John.
He did the design production for the studio sections.
Yeah, very, very nice guy. So we knew we were going to meet up with them again.
We did several times throughout the Expo.
Several times, yeah. And they were like, oh, hey, it's Scott. And yes, I did see somebody I knew that day.
You see somebody he knows every day.
Yes. We ended up walking around the artist alley in the Big Four. Checked out that. Lots of great art.
You're forgetting the point where we showed up past the HP Omen, and you said, I don't want a hat, and then they threw a hat at you.
Yeah. How random.
And then when we showed up the MSI and they're throwing out free stuff, and I said, this guy wants stuff, and they threw it to him.
Yeah. It was really weird. We literally walked up to this HPI Omen convention. These guys were like, yeah, what do you want? And I was like, nothing.
And then they threw a hat right
and they
at him.
threw a hat. Literally, I stuck my arm up and maybe not even
I was going to hit you in the face if you didn't catch it.
And grabbed it out of the air. And I was like, meh, free swag, and walked away. So that was awesome. Then what else did we do?
We hit a couple panels, then we went to go see Black Mountainside.
Did we hit? Did we hit a panel yesterday?
Yeah, we did. I just can't remember which one. It obviously left a giant impression.
No, it wasn't steampunk.
No, that was today.
That was today. Don't go to steampunk panels. They're not great. Guy was fucking way full of himself. He's like, I'm a history major. Ha ha ha.
English.
Whatever the fuck he was. He was an idiot.
I hope you're not a listener. If you are, don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes, folks. What panel did we see? I'm so confused.
We did look in on Jeremy Shadows one quick. And we went into the other one that was there. I just can't remember what it was on Saturday.
I can't remember either.
It obviously had a big impact on us.
Yes, it like profoundly
It changed our lives.
Profoundly emotional. Yeah, and then we hit up Nick's. Nick played the movie, and that was nice. There was, what did he say, 14?
14 to 20, depending on how many people were in the room at the time.
There were some people walked in and out. Really good. As always, I enjoy Black Mountain Side.
I've never seen that movie before. What's it about?
It's about a guy that snaps his fingers. I don't know.
And then a bear trap comes out of nowhere?
Bear trap, yeah. It's not a finger snap, it's a bear trap. That was pretty much that day, because it ended up.
And then they asked questions.
They had some Q&A.
Scott asked a question that he's asked before and got the same answer.
I don't think I have asked that question.
Yes, you have. Because I knew the answer before he opened up.
Okay, maybe I have. Okay, Bob?
I was quite interested because we did that interview with him and asked questions, and after this Q&A, I learned a lot more that I didn't know.
Yeah, which was nice.
Yes. Like, we were talking to, like I say, the production designer for the studios, John, right?
Yeah.
Because after that, Nick was in there talking to people. We were talking, so I was like, you guys made a replica of the two buildings?
Yeah.
To do all that stuff in a soundstage? He's like, yeah, it was pretty terrible. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he said it was kind of horseshit.
He's like, so yeah, we just had the one basic room frame, and then we had to just go back from pictures and match for the two different rooms.
I was like,
man,
that would have been awful.
There was a prop storage thing right there, but it was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, no, I had a good time talking with John and Nick afterwards.
They're both quite nice.
Yeah, we ended up talking to him for probably a half an hour afterwards they finally got out.
And then they said, we got to go now. We were like, okay, bye. And then we met on the train station.
Yeah, we went down to the train station back to our hotel, and he's like, oh.
You're staying there.
Yeah, and we found out that the hotel we're staying at is frequently accustomed to ladies of the eve.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Air quotations.
There's nothing rough about this neighborhood. So what if we were wearing riot clothes today?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, so, that was our second day. It was quite nice.
Yeah, things went well.
Today was a little more of a wash, but that's one of my complaints I'll get into once we're done talking about it.
Yeah. Today, we got up,
showed up on time.
Yeah, surprisingly, I felt pretty okay this morning, which was weird, and I knew it wasn't going to last long for some reason. We got up, hit MSI. MSI has, MSI Computer Systems. Yeah,
they've got gaming PCs and accessories.
Gaming PCs and stuff. So every day at the convention, they had if you got there early enough, you could get entered into a draw for headphones, some $50 Steam
bags, dragons, gift cards.
Yeah, and then at the end, it was a computer giveaway that I'm sure that we got called for, but we missed it.
For reasons beyond my control.
Yeah, not mine. So anyways, we went to the MSI booth. I picked up a couple shirts from the Otafest booth.
I went back to the Otafest booth and bought a sweater.
Bob got a ball and sweater.
They said that large would be big enough, and I believe them. And technically, it does fit me, but I look ridiculous.
He looks pretty cuddly. Yeah, they didn't lie. It does fit you.
It does fit me. I look pretty dumb wearing it, but it does fit me.
They also assumed some things about Bob that were really funny.
Let's not get into that.
How many pride pins you got now, Bob?
3.
Okay. Bob just likes the pin.
I'm a big fan of Skittles. So
yeah, taste the rainbow, fuckers. But
in all fairness, it was
It is.
I forgot to mention we were dressed up as USS
Oh yeah, we
guys
dressed up
today.
today. Yeah, we were dressed up as US.
Got our pictures taken by a couple people. We met two girls dressed up as Leon and Claire from the remake, and they were like, yeah, it's cold today. I'm glad, they changed the clothing design for the remake, and I was like, oh my god. So I was thinking about putting cat ears.
Yeah.
On my uniform, but I was like, I didn't think anyone would get it. She's like, that would have been hilarious, but I don't think anyone would have got it. So they took selfies with us, and I hope they had an excellent convention.
Yeah, I hope they did too.
I think we need more Resident Evil game fans.
So do I. You know what though? I've probably seen about 10 this year, a solid 10. Like with our Raccoon City Police. Is it Raccoon City Police?
RPD.
Well,
I saw some guys dressed up as Chris Redfield, some random Stars guys.
Yeah,
another Claire, but
yeah, but like
you figure with
RE2
two
and how
being
well it did.
released again, it would bring more hype. But
I was kind of surprised that there wasn't more.
Like when we were waiting to get into the Big Four this morning, the people in front of us dressed up as the bride from Kill Bill and her friend.
Yes.
They were talking about their Resident Evil costumes. They're like, we should have wore those.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we got some shirts.
Saw some panels. We saw Zach Levy. And then we also saw Steampunk when we got out of there.
Yeah,
quick.
Steampunk was awful. We were in there for about 7 minutes.
No, it was a good 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I was looking because we left because we had to get to the Levy one.
Yeah. And then I found an artist to do a picture for me, for my little girl. She did a girl flash, which it turned out fucking amazing. I was really happy with it. Couldn't have been a nicer lady. I'm going to make sure that I get a picture of my little girl with her flash picture so I can send it to her, because that lady was super nice. And I couldn't believe that she had done it by 3:30.
And then, unfortunately, the Expo day I was sympathetic, so we kind of booked it.
So wait, before that we went and met John DiMaggio.
And he was nice to Scott, but mean to the surly-looking gentleman behind him.
Yes, he was very nice to me, and it was a pleasure to meet him and shake his hand and thank him for his work. And if you don't know who that is, it's Bender, and that's King. Jeez, I can't remember what his name is. King
from Disenchanted.
Yeah.
Or you could say
Drake
Jake from Adventure Time, or Phoenix, or the Joker, or any TV show that's been on that has a gruff voice. There you go.
Yeah. So it was really nice.
Don't meet your heroes, kids. You heard it from me.
Yeah, you heard it from Bob, not from Scott. And then I waited in line for Bob. And Bob, what did you get today? A certain little thing.
Oh, I like to point this out. I'm a VIP. I'm doing air quotations, but that is true. So I could skip the line, but I didn't skip the line because I feel that I should have to wait in line like everybody else.
You're nicer than me, Bob, because I would have been like, get the fuck out of my way, bitches. Hand to face.
I went to, because last time we saw Jeremy Shada at his panel in Vancouver, Scott was like, we should get him to do a soundbite. And I was like, we already bugged him once. I don't want to bug him again. So he was here again in Calgary. So I was like, whatever, I'll go bug him. So I went and bugged him, and depending on the edit, you may have heard it already. We'll probably post the whole thing at some point, but you may have heard the intro already.
Yes, you will hear it. I might make it some sort of a staple of the podcast, or just for special episodes.
But yeah, he's young, talented, very polite, and very charming.
He is very polite, isn't he?
Yes, he's quite the whippersnapper rapscallion, but he's charming, he's polite, he's very well-mannered, and John DiMaggio was just so mean to me. I was just so upset.
He's so upset. I missed what he said to you.
Nothing.
Nothing?
He's like, oh, hey. I was like, can I give you a handshake? He's like, no.
Really? You didn't even get a handshake?
He just narrowed his eyes at me, and he crossed his arms and just shook his head at me.
Wow. So, yeah. That's
it wasn't that bad. I'm exaggerating. It's just, Scott brought up his kids, so,
Yeah, because I got my autograph. I got the autograph that he signed for me for my son. So I thought he was like, oh, that's awesome. And he's like, he did the Bender voice, and he's like, stay in school, you stupid idiot.
It was
It's so cool watching. Like we met. Who was the other one we met?
Phil Lamar or
No.
Billy West?
We met Billy West, and like hearing them do the voices in front of you
And seeing it,
baffles you.
yes.
Like it's like
He was like John DiMaggio was like most charming man you would ever be in a Scott. He was cracking jokes, talking like Bender, saying absurd things.
Yeah.
You're like, if I said that in my regular voice, that would just be acceptable. I say it as Bender, and then he's like, he just glares at me, shakes his head, shanks me a couple times.
he rubs his mustache. He's like,
maybe it's because I had a mustache and he was upset with like the competition.
maybe.
I should have shaved my mustache.
You fucking asshole.
I should have worn my gas mask.
Bob, it was your fault.
It's like rhinos competing when they get the horns.
Yeah.
He took it as a challenge.
It was a challenge. You were like, oh shit. So anyways,
Like I say, charming man.
Yes, to me.
Joking aside, charming.
anyways, after Bob got the recording from Jeremy Shada, I started to feel ill.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, it was awful. We'll just go with that. And like I'm sorry again, Bob. I feel as though I kind of fucked up the con for you.
It's like I say, it's kind of a wash, but it's not all your fault. I want to once you're done complaining about stuff, I'll complain a little bit, and then they'll be like, these guys are whining about nothing.
Yeah, my issue is that I've felt awful. I literally almost called Bob and told him I was like, I can't come to the convention, but I was like, I gotta tough it out. I was like, I really don't want to be like, oh fuck you, Bob, I can't fucking go and leave you in a stink-free room.
Well,
And Bob's like, it's okay, I don't mind, guys.
he's lying. I didn't say any of those words. I said much harsher words.
So yeah, what were
My problem, and this is really just my problem, but still, it affected me, so I'm going to whine about it.
I want to hear.
The program scheduling. They program all the things I want to do in and around the same block. And that happens. It's like there's 3 different panels you want to do, and they're all at 5 and 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And like we had tickets to go see, the Back to the Future panel, but it was, we looked at it, and Nick's thing, instead of being an hour, was 120 minutes because the movie is 99 minutes and 20 hours for Q&A. And we were like, you want to support people that you know personally, and we probably had more fun at Black Mountainside, but still, it would have been nice to be able to do both.
It would have. Yeah, they really poor planning this year.
Well, it's the thing is, that's the thing, it doesn't affect everybody. Some people only want to do one thing, but like every panel that we want to do is like a terrible time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to have the MSI raffle, and we're going to do this at the same time.
So you can't do both. Fuck you, Scott and Bob.
They're like, you know what? Screw these guys.
They're like, we're going to listen to their podcast one time. Just fuck them. Fuck them so fucking good.
Yeah, like, that's a problem with every convention, is like the scheduling.
I'm not a fan of the new takeover people.
You don't like the new swag?
This swag was not as good as the 2 years ago that I went.
I told you because it changed last year.
Yeah, the talent.
There's nothing wrong with the talent. I know you're gonna whine about it, but like, I was impressed by everybody who was there. I know we didn't go talk to them, but like,
no. I just found that the talent was not as good as like before. Like, if you really think about it, they had like Aquaman 3 years ago, right? Or 2 years ago. Jason Momoa was there.
Yeah.
Like, they had big names. Big names. And I'm not saying that these weren't big names. Like Michael J. Fox, like the whole Back to the Future cast, Zach Levy.
Linda.
Fucking Linda Carter. No, she's old, Bob.
I was like, Fallout. Everybody loves Fallout, and he doesn't love Linda Carter. Like, the man is insane.
I enjoy Fallout. I don't enjoy Linda Carter. She's got old bones, Bob.
Yeah,
old bones.
You can't love Fallout without loving Linda Carter, okay? You just can't do it.
Moving on from Linda Carter. Also, the other kids from Shazam were there. It wasn't for me, I guess, this year. The people.
That's a fair assessment, but
John DiMaggio was pretty much made the convention for me.
If you were not in the strain of illness that you are, you might get more enjoyment.
Maybe.
Because I was looking around, and I was wondering, is it just because I'm old and cynical that I don't like this more? Because, like, every kid I saw there was having a great time.
Were they?
Like the kids, when we were waiting in the line for me to get picked on by John DiMaggio, those kids next to us that were hitting each other with swords, they were having a blast.
Yeah, did.
Every kid in there, every teen, every young 20-year-old person, like, people are having a great time in there.
But did you find there was a lot less people there this year?
Well, for tennis, like, yeah, it was like, I think 2 years ago. Well,
because I can remember.
I remember the year that they didn't let people in, and I was in a hallway for like 5 hours. I think that's the most. That's when everybody from Star Trek came.
Okay.
Like the whole cast.
Yeah.
And it got crazy.
I remember.
It's like we're in a snowstorm right now, blizzard too. That may have affected things.
Yeah, but it wasn't there before.
Yeah, but people knew it was going to happen, so maybe they wouldn't come.
I just usually I remember like walking down to like into the middle there. So there's like a central outside area, and it just being packed full of people. Packed.
Well, yeah, like the weather wasn't great, so I'm thinking that actually does affect it.
Yeah, maybe. Even walking around didn't seem super busy.
Well, you say the sun wasn't out, so maybe people aren't going to show up. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I guess it is hard to say.
There were less people than normal.
Yeah, I would say that they probably did about 60,000, maybe a little less. And the last year I went was 90 or 95.
Not as much cosplay as other years either.
Yeah. So are we going to go back tomorrow?
If it's a break in the weather, yeah, let's go back till 12 or 1, and then we'll just drive slowly, and I'll just show up hungover as... I mean...
Bob's drunk again at work.
We can edit that out to make me look smart, right?
No. I'm going to send that to your boss, Bob. I'm going to be like, Joe J. Jameson, here you go. Here's your evidence.
Sleep deprived counts as being incapacitated, right?
Yeah, it does. What were your favorite things?
Oh, I always like seeing the Otafest booth and asking them every year, do you guys have any new hats?
Yeah, what the fuck, Otafest? Out of all my complaints, the one girl I talked to today was in merch, and I was like, you need to get hats. I was like, this is the second year. Ask for hats. No hats. She was like, make sure you go online and do all this stuff. I was like, you just said you're part of the merch. I was like, my opinion's going to you. Going directly to the source.
Every year I ask for hats. I saw one other person wearing a hat.
Yes.
But he doesn't wear his hat every day, so it's a little less worn out.
The Otafest hats are beautiful. It's like a circle with a wing off the top of it.
It's called the O-wing.
The O-wing? Okay. I don't know. If you want to know what it is, look it up online. And then it's a black hat with a red O-wing, and it's a nice-looking hat. I wanted one last year. Couldn't get one.
I should have bought more when they were on sale. I was like, why would I buy more than one hat? I'll just buy the newer design next year.
Yeah.
And I've been wearing this hat for years now. I've had to wash it several times.
74 years. Bob has aged horribly.
That's because I traveled through time because I had to take all the Infinity Burgers back.
Oh, those Infinity Burgers. Yep.
Whoops, spoilers.
Carl's Jr., right?
Yes.
Okay. So, all in all, what do you want to give the con?
Oh, if we're going to give it a ghost rating, there was no Peter Dinklage, but there was a guy who looked like Peter Dinklage at a screening.
Yes. I believe his name is Michael Dickinson. And so how many Dickinsons are we giving this?
No, I would give it over a 3, but I don't know how much over a 3 I would give it. I was pretty stoked about seeing other passionate Resident Evil fans, and
I was really happy about that too, and they were super cool girls. We took quite a few pictures too. It was nice.
Some people didn't know who we are, and some people did.
Yeah, that was really weird. I heard somebody say, "What are you guys supposed to be?" I was like, "I'm not even gonna dignify you with an answer, sir, and or ma'am, because I don't assume genders."
But yeah, like you figure with the remake coming out, it would be more.
Yeah, fairly, because the remake sold gangbusters.
That's because it was faithful to the original, fairly.
Yeah.
And it came with extra game modes.
Yeah, exactly.
Ghost Survivors. Who doesn't like Ghost Survivors?
I don't know what that is, but yeah, who doesn't like those?
Cat ears on my helmet. It would have been great.
Right?
Oh, okay. So when we showed up in costume, we walked through the main door. We purposely don't bring like any knives, any guns,
Any type of like prop.
because we're okay. So like
We
I know
can't
I always joke about it, but I'm actually like 6'2" and 250. I'm actually a fairly large built guy.
Yeah.
Compared, but so you put me in boots and armor. Like I was walking out of the Zachary Levi thing, and a woman walked out of the bathroom, and she just about like tripped.
She almost shit herself again.
She was pushing like this cart with stuff in it, and she just about like jumped over. Like I was like, oh god. I was like, I just put my hands. I was like, she's like, oh my god, you're terrified. I was like, sorry.
Yeah. So, anyways.
So we walk in.
Yeah. We walk in, and this little guy's like.
He's one of the security guys.
Yeah. And Bob towers him. So I tower him, and I'm 5'9", if that. I might be on the low end of 5'9". We're not going to talk about that. 5'10", right? Whatever. Anyways, and I'm towering him, and he's like, props. I'm like, I don't have any props. He's like, you gotta go over to props. I was like, I literally have no props. He's like, you need to go over to props.
So I was like, all right, whatever. So we walked over to props. They looked at us, and they're just like, so they're like looking at us like, what do you want? And I was like, so I put my hands up, and I spun around in a circle, and I was like, I got nothing.
And I was like, that idiot over there wanted us to go to props.
He was like, well, we could wrap the tape around you.
Wrap the tape around you, yeah.
Because like they wrap tape around the props once they've been inspected. So they're like,
yeah.
We could wrap tape around you. That's about it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe that little bastard.
You go to props. It's like, I don't have any guns or knives. Like, I came here unarmed.
Yeah, like, because it turns into a hassle. Actually, the one thing I can say this year, the props table was, it seemed like they had like a props table outside. They had a props table inside.
They had a lot of them.
Because before it was like, you come down into the... like
the attendance where you come in for admissions.
Yeah, when you come into admissions and you do it, I think you'd have to do it every single fucking time. Like, it'd be annoying as hell. So, props for the props.
Props for props.
Props for props.
Yeah, like I've always pointed that out. It's like we look scary enough as it is.
Yeah, but I'm along the same lines as you. Maybe a 2.75. I might go a little lower than a 3. It was a mediocre, and that's taking my illness away from it.
If we took the illness away, it would probably get bumped closer. I'd give it closer to a 3.5, without maybe higher than that even.
And I would probably I'd probably put it at a 3 if without the illness.
It'd just be great if they had the panels like spread out better.
Yeah, it's
maybe.
a white guy, or I don't know what the hell you want to call it, a white privilege problem, I guess.
Yes, like it's not a real problem. It's just whining problem.
It would have been nicer to been able to hit up some of the panels. Like Bob paid for tickets for the one, and then we got we're like, well, we got to support our friend. Whatever, it worked out. So, anyways. For the BNS Awesome podcast.
He always wants to, like, he's worried about the power going out. Spider-Man is like stopped 20 times when he's watching it because it keeps knocking out the grid.
Hey, fucking weather.
He wants to do a podcast and now it's like, we're only like 36 minutes in, we might as well call it.
Well, no, I was going to say we could do this pod and then we can go into the Avengers Endgame podcast.
Oh, you want to get into it now?
Yeah.
You want to just like have this to be part 2? We're just getting into that. We can talk about other things we remember as we go along.
Yeah, we'll just end it,
and then it'll be part 2.
And then we'll be
the first one will be the Infinity Convention. This will be Endgame.
Yeah. So for the BNS Awesome podcast, I'm not gonna die in the next one.
Hey, Scott, hold my beer and watch this.
Guess what? Me and Bob now have an Instagram. So if you want to go into Instagram, head over to the BNS Awesome Podcast. We are there. We are posting stuff daily. Be sure to check it out. Well, thanks for listening to the BNS Awesome Podcast. If you would like to reach us, you can get us on our email at bnsawesomepodcast@gmail.com. Thanks, Bob. And you can also reach us on Twitter at BNS Awesome Pod. We can.
Isn't there other things I can find you on?
There is. We can also be found on Spotify now, and we can also be found on Stitcher and iTunes. So be sure if you go there, rate, comment, review, all that stuff, and thanks.